How's it going, everybody? This is Captain Silos, right? With a quick thought on the upcoming game against the LA Chargers, right? But before that, let's just recap, right? The weekend, which was the Raiders versus the Pats. Real quick, the Raiders won 2013. You know that Geno Smith had a really good game, so I just want to highlight that. Right, it was 24 out of 34. He was 24 out of 34. He had 362 yards, one touchdown, one INT. Which INT, I mean, I get why he threw it, but it's on both of them. It wasn't just him, right? Because they bounced off the receivers. Uh Gently on his first start had a 2-point average, right? Which is not good. The good thing is Geno and Chip Kelly, right? Spread the ball around for 7 different receivers touched the ball in the passing game, which is good. And then in the second half, the defense looked a lot better. In the first half, they struggled, but once coming out the locker room, everybody you've heard already, the defense had adjustments and they're great. So, right. So, just congrats on that win. It was a good way to start the season. But now we come to this Charger game, right? This is at home. It's going to be a September 15 and it's the Monday night game, so it's at 10. All right, East Coast time. So the Raiders are 1-0, and the Chargers beat the Chiefs on Friday in Brazil, so they're 1-0 too, right? So key matchups, right? Which let's talk about that. One, running backs, right? They both have young running backs. They both struggle off the gate, right? So Gently, we talked about his 2-point average, which he can do. And then Omarion Hampton, he only had like 40, I think he had like 40 yards himself, right? He struggled too. Both running backs are going to be compared all season because they were high drafts as running backs, right? They both were first rounders. Gently needs to have a better game, which honestly better than 2.0 shouldn't be hard. I give the edge to Gently on this. They're both playing good rush defense, right? Because just to give you some numbers, right? The rush defense for the Raiders only allows 60 yards. They only allow 3.3 yards per carry. So that's going to be hard for Hampton to get going. But also, San Diego did the same thing. They did allow more yards than the Raiders. They allowed 98. However, they only allow, when it came to the running backs, only allow 40 yards, right? They averaged a 5 yards to carry, but again, a lot of that was Mahomes running around, and which increased the average. But running backs only got 40 yards on them. We'll see what happens this week, right? But I give the edge to Gently on this. As a fan, I think he's going to have a better game. I think our whole line should be a little bit better this game. Once the more they play together, I think the better they're going to be at the run. So I give that edge to Gently, right? I think he should have the better game, right? Because we're gonna rely on him a lot, especially with the Chip Kelly likes to run the balls. So does Pete Carroll, right? So let's see what happens. The main matchup that everybody's going to compare the two is Geno Smith and Herbert, right? Herbert threw for 318 yards, 3 touchdowns, had a 1.317 rating, where Geno Smith threw for 362, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and had a 102 rating against New England, right? Now, the Chargers defense has a better rush, all right? So our line struggled last week and gave up 4 sacks. Justin Herbert's line gave up a couple sacks too. They gave up 3 sacks, right? So both lines have to improve, but I think we're going to continue to kind of struggle in the passing line. As they get accustomed, I think it's easier to adjust to the run. I think most offensive linemen will tell you that they rather run block than pass block, right? So I think they'll get better as the year goes. Like I said, chemistry is everything for the O-line, but they need to improve that because both defenses rushed the quarterback very well last week, right? Um, I think Herbert had a better performance with the 3 touchdowns, right? I like the fact that Geno Smith threw for 362, but I'd rather see touchdowns than yards, to be honest. So I think, Justin Herbert has the higher upside, and I think our secondary it's going to struggle, but they're playing 3 good receivers, right? So let's look at San Diego's 3 receivers. Um, Allen had 100. Sorry, Allen had 68 yards. He had 10 targets, 7 receptions, and 1 touchdown. Their receiver Johnson had 7 targets, 5 receptions, 79 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then Lowry McCarty, he had 9 targets, 6 receptions, 74 yards, no touchdowns. Right. Our secondary gave up. The Raiders secondary gave up 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, which again, that interception was caused by 2 people. Max Crosby, and I know he doesn't get enough credit, but right, the D tackle, right? The D tackle from that we got from Philadelphia, right? Max Crosby hit the quarterback, and Palomalo adjusted to the ball where it was in there and made the interception, which is good, right? That's what we need. But in this game, what I see is those matchups, right? I think trying to stop Herbert is going to be the biggest matchup that we have, especially our secondary, right? We've all known our secondary has problems, and they're very young, so they're very unproven. So in this game, honestly, I don't see us beating the Chargers. I think it's going to be a lot closer, but I think in the end, I think the Chargers are the better team too. And this year, I want to be a little bit more realistic with my thoughts and opinions, right? I'm always going to root for the Raiders to win, which is what I hope happens, right? However, I do think San Diego does take this one. And I think in my prediction video, I did pick San Diego to win. In a second, tell you now. Yeah, so I did have us losing to the Chargers in week 2, and I still believe after seeing both teams perform that I think the Chargers are the better team. So I think we end up losing this game. I think it's going to be closer, but I think our offensive line is not there yet. I think we need to build that chemistry, and I think until our running game gets going, we are going to struggle against really good teams. And I think the Chargers are a good team. I picked the Chargers to win the division. I think that this is the year they overtake the Chiefs. I said that in the video of where I made the prediction to the Raiders record, right? I really do believe that this is the year the Chargers, they just need to stay healthy, but they have a really good team, right? But overall, I see the keys to victory is to beat Herbert, right? Is to slow him down. He's going to throw his yards, but not let him score, right? Which if we go and keep him, if we keep him to 13 like we did New England, we should win, right? Because we kept New England's quarterback to a low rating. I think the rating that we left the quarterback to was 80.6, which that's pretty good, right? So that means that our defense did give up yards. We gave up 1 touchdown, but we did have that interceptions, right? So that's what I'm saying. I don't mind giving up the yards, right? They call it the bend but don't break defense, right? So if we do that, right, allow them to, he's going to get his yards. Like I said, Herbert's going to get it. It's just not letting them score, right? So it's too early in the season for me to see how this red zone defense is going to be. And it's too early in the season for me to predict us winning against the Chargers when our offensive line hasn't gotten it together, right? I think overall, this is going to be a really good offense, and Geno Smith is better than I even thought, right? I still have doubt in certain things on this team. One of them is the linebackers, and the other one is the secondary. But overall, I do think that we're going to be a better team I do think it's gonna take some time for the chemistry on this team to build, right? But I think right now, if I was betting on this game, I would bet with the Chargers, right? So those are my thoughts. I just wanted to make a quick thought on this, right? The game again, it's Monday night, so guys, if you like the video, if you agree with me, let me know in the comments below, right? If you like the video, hit like. If you dislike the video, hit the dislike. Subscribe, it's free, right? It helps the channel grow. And until next time, peace out.